All right, lots to get into. Let's start with Aaron Rodgers, who we talked about a lot yesterday. Yesterday we talked a lot about the game, more so than what he said. A little bit about what he said. Trent Dilfer joined us yesterday. Remember when Trent joined us? Yeah. And Trent said, what was it, 100% chance that Aaron Rodgers was going to be back? Yeah, that's what he said, 100% chance. 100% chance that he was going to be back. So what's that mean? What's it mean that Aaron Rodgers said, hey, a lot of guys, futures are up in the air, me included. Aaron Rodgers acted like, what are you guys freaking out about when he was on with Pat McAfee earlier today?
I don't feel like I said anything that I hadn't said before. I said it the first time I talked to the media. It was more a realization, I think, that ultimately my future is not necessarily in my control. I don't think that there's any reason why I wouldn't be back. But look, I think there's not many absolutes, as you guys know, in this business. So to make an absolute statement about something that is not an absolute, I didn't do it, and I guess that's why it went kind of nuts.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. No, Aaron, time and place, dude. You just had a gut-wrenching loss. It's the end of a spectacular season, one in which you lost in a battle of the Titans. Two of the all-time greatest quarterbacks to ever play the position matched up at Lambeau Field. Your team had a home field advantage. Your team made some mistakes. You had the football. Your coach took the football out of your hands and left it to the defense to get you the ball back. You never got it back. There's a lot of things. Just because you said it before, I tell you what I learned this, okay? I've done, 20 University of Oregon games. 20 University of Oregon games. So I was doing an Oregon-Arizona game when I was working at CBS. And again, I had a recruiting visit to Oregon. My brother's an assistant at Oregon State. I love the place. I think it's really cool. I like Matt Court more so than Matthew Knight Arena. But regardless, I'm calling a game on CBS, and I go to break with the Oregon all hopped up on quack, right? That's a good line. Apparently not for CBS. They're like, dude, this is CBS. It's different. So what you say resonates differently considering the audience, size of it, timing of it. We all know that, right? Like, you can make lower extremity jokes around the dudes in the locker room, but you make them out in public and you kind of feel like a tool. And in this particular case, Aaron Rodgers can say, hey, man, I've said this before, nothing changes. Come on, man. Even if you're trying to say, like, I'm just trying to be one, nothing is that. They're not getting rid of you. You just had an MVP season. I think the biggest problem is Aaron isn't owning it. He's not owning it. He's not saying what he really wants to say, which is, you know what? I'm still mad about the Jordan Love thing. And you know what? I want a new contract. I want to play till I'm 40. And by drafting a guy that's going to be ready probably in another year, which just so happens to coincide with when all the meat to my contract is gone, you're telling me that's when my time is up. So this is me flexing my muscles at the right time. He didn't say it at the wrong time. He said the exact right time, but he's not owning why he said it at that moment. I want a lot of new money, and I want years, and I want that guy gone. That's what I want. I have a friend. I'll have this friend remain nameless, okay? But this friend was a television executive, and he was brought in to fix a television show. Now, he technically was in charge of a bunch of shows, but the reality was he was in charge. He really brought in to fix one show. And so he worked for months because he was still kind of in a contract thing where he had non-compete. He worked for free and was everybody's best friend for 6 months. And then something like 72 days into the job, the actual job, when he was getting paid, he had a meeting with the board. And he proposed a plan. It was a 3-year plan. Going to do this, going to do that, going to do this. Year 1. Going to do this, going to do that. And then by year 3, the guy who was the star of said show was going to go bye-bye because his contract was going to be up. and he would be summarily replaced. And by then, the ratings would be good enough, and they would have built up a good enough supporting cast where he would be gone, and his guy would be the guy. It's a true story. You can do a little research and maybe find out who I'm talking about. Okay? But here's really what happened. The presentation was on a Friday morning. Like, man, I killed it. And everybody in the room is like, that was really good. I think that'll really work. That's pretty good. We'll get back to you. Okay? So by Friday afternoon, news traveled to the guy who was the guy, and he was making the most money. And my guy, made like 1/25th of what he was making. He still made really good money, but 1/25th of what he was making. And so when he called the ultimate head boss and said, hey, heard there's a plan in place. Yeah, we're pretty excited about it. Yeah, well, I heard that after year 3, I'm out. Well, that's just a preliminary plan. Here's the deal, the big guy said. Monday morning, he goes or I go. My guy was gone, right? So this is business. It's never personal. But what Aaron Rodgers is doing is it's one, disingenuous to act like, well, I said it before. What's the big deal? I just happened to say it after a football game. It's the biggest football game of the year. You could make the case outside of Super Bowls. That's the biggest playoff game in decades. There's nothing else going on. People are locked down. It's in the winter. It's Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady playing in the playoffs, something they've never done before, and a game that went down to the wire. It had controversial calls. It had fumbles. It had injuries. It had great plays. It had bizarre play calls. It had the two biggest stars in the sport. It had everything. So to sit here and act like, I don't know, here's a big deal. I don't control my own destiny. I don't. Ironically, he had to be shaking Tom Brady's hands. And by the way, did you see, Aaron's he's a good-looking 6'2" dude. Good hair. I don't know what's going on with the Fu Manchu. But Green Bay has not treated him the way that New England and now Tampa. Whatever Tom Brady is doing facially, like it was Botox or how he's eating and whatever he did to his hair, that guy looks amazing. Aaron Rodgers looked like a beaten soldier. He looked like a warrior, but he looked like he looked 47 and Tom Brady looked 27. So here you are shaking the hand and the fake little hug thing with the guy who's going to his 10th Super Bowl. You've been to 1. You got to live and play in Green Bay. He's in Tampa, Florida. And he's sitting there going, I want what he has. Not just in terms of players. I want what he did in New England. They had Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo was set to take over when Tom Brady's contract expired. And he's like, no, he goes or I go. And that's what that was. Now, there's a difference in management with Brian Gutekunst as opposed to the ownership group with Bob Kraft and the relationship that he has. But that's what it was about. And the two most disingenuous parts are to act like, what? I didn't say anything. And 2, the time and place doesn't matter. Pro Football Talk said Aaron Rodgers wants a new contract. Hell yeah. It's not sometimes. It's always about money. And he wants Jordan Love gone. I'm tired of people asking me about Jordan Love. So get rid of Jordan Love, flip him for a second-round pick, get me a cornerback that can actually cover somebody, and let's roll. That is my read on what he was trying to accomplish. Guys don't just say stuff to say stuff. I heard Joy Taylor, who co-hosts The Herd with Colin Cowherd, right? She has this great way of putting it. She said, women don't forget. It's like a spice rack, You put it up on the spice rack, and then every once in a while you think of a recipe for an argument. You're like, oh, let me pull that one out. Remember you said this in December of 2015? Like, nah, I don't remember that. Well, let's sprinkle a little bit of that in the argument. That's what happened with Aaron Rodgers. He's tired. He's hungry. He's ticked off he didn't have the ball. He's mad. Probably he didn't run the ball on third down. Probably mad at himself. I'm sure he's mad at what's the name, King, the defensive back. He's looking at Tom Brady, looks good. Tom Brady probably smells good after everybody else smells like grass after a football game. He probably smells like flowers. Just disgusting. There's no grass. Tom Brady Does not move. Doesn't move in the pocket. And there's no green grass on his jersey at all. Nobody hit him the entire day. And now I got to come answer some questions about my future. All right, here's my future. I might be back, I might not. I don't know. And I'm sure he got from the agent like, we can't move you. Not sure how that works, but we'll do whatever we can. He wants more money up front, long-term contract. He wants to play until he's 40, and he wants that guy gone.